wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you guys for coming on the show today, especially it's April 24th. So, explain to us how exciting this is. What's happening? What's coming to Fresno?
Well, it's going to be a very, very big event, the one of its kind. The Armenian national basketball team is coming to Fresno for the first time ever, and we are going to be playing against the Costa Rican team. The game is going to be called the Tarkanian Classic. It's going to be a huge tribute to Coach Jerry Tarkanian, one of the biggest Armenian basketball names out there. And we're going to host a huge event with a big crowd, hopefully.
Yep. Given that Fresno is such a big place for the Armenian community, it's home to a lot of Armenians, it's more than just a game. It's an opportunity to get together with the community. It should be about Heritage Night. It should be about unity. And it's just an opportunity to get the Armenian community together to participate and to be part of it.
We've never had them come here, right?
No.
You know more about the history. This is I'm like,
Yes.
I've never heard of that. I'm like, that is really cool. I was like, we have an Armenian football team. I'm sorry. I'm like, I was very excited to find that out, though.
Yeah, so
Yes, it's a big deal. It's the first time ever.
they're an up-and-coming, growing basketball team. The head coach, Rick Skelemian, he was sought out by the Armenian National Federation to be their coach. And he's got an awesome backstory as well. He actually he told us about how his grandmother came through Ellis Island into the United States after the genocide and how they established their family here. Both his parents are Armenian. And
So where does he live now?
he is currently the assistant coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, which are actually having their second playoff game tonight against the Pacers. So he's busy with that tonight.
So he lives in...
He lives in Milwaukee, I believe.
That's wow.
So he's going to be going.
He spends a lot of his free time, a lot of any opportunity he gets. He's there in the summertime in Armenia. He's, with the 30 plus years of experience, he's so passionate about Armenia. And as Jack said, given that, his grandmother came through Ellis Island and was a genocide survivor, as he mentioned in one of his interviews, he said, this is a way for me to give back. And so we thought about it, and you know what? This is a way for us to give back, and this is a great opportunity for all of us Armenians, to be able to give back to the Armenian community, to show up, and we can all give back in our own way, right? So whether some people sponsor it, whether it's donations, whether it's purchasing a ticket, spreading the word, whatever we can do, I think this is the time that the community needs us to get together.
Okay, so how do we contact in order to be a sponsor? What do we do on that?
So info's on that. It's info@armeniabasketball.com. You can also...
That's easy. info@armeniabasketball.com. You guys can email that.
So Rex Kellerman created the foundation called Friends of Armenia Basketball. And that's how they run the program pretty much. The federation itself is the one who oversees everything. It's a federation. It's the Armenia Federation. But they are always, they always need funds for them to be able to run the program, not just in Armenia, but internationally. So in order for them to travel and be able to participate in events like the one we're having, the nonprofit organization called Friends of Armenia Basketball is pretty much who runs the show in terms of the events happening. So for sponsorships, it is a nonprofit. You could always pretty much contact the info at Armenia Basketball, and you'll be able to support them with sponsorships, donations, and also if you want to, like you said, if you want to grab a group ticket for the community, for example, you could also do that. That's something we're trying to do as well.
Well, that's awesome. So they just need to go to that and then could you go? Because sometimes people want their name thrown out there if they sponsor. You know
we can do that as well.
You know how we are.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's always an option. That's always an option. We could create banners, put their names up there.
Yeah. That's great. So definitely you guys got to jump in on this. And we really got to make sure this is great so that they want to come back. So that's what every Armenian kind of needs to be there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You guys need to be there. Let's show up. If we don't show up for our own community, who will? So we got to show up. This is so cool. Do we get to get autographs for there too? Like, how receptive are they to the fan base? Like,
Yes.
It's going to be a very interactive event.
That's
we
cool.
are going to have a DJ. DJ Mike is going to be there throwing some sounds at us. We are going to have, we're hoping to have a basketball game with the little ones during halftime. Hopefully we'll do a dance show. It's going to be
Let's
a very...
not give it all away.
It might be a little surprise there too. We're trying to do everything we can to make it an interactive event. The coaches and the players will hang out after the game.
So there will be a meet and greet.
Yes.
They will have merchandise, giveaways. We will have contests during halftime. They will be throwing out T-shirts, and as he said, it's very
Food
interactive.
trucks.
Yeah, everyone's got to take their kids to this. This is such a cool thing, and then the fact that they can meet people and
They will
go out,
stay
that's-
after the game. They will meet. They will take pictures. They will sign autographs.
That's a big deal. That'd be the last thing I'd want to do if I was playing a game all day. I'd be like, I just want to eat a burger and not do this.
I could speak from experience because we went to the one in LA last year. They will do that. We have
That's
pictures
really
with
nice
the players
of
and the
them.
coaches, and they hang out and talk to you. They're very, very approachable, and they
really nice.
love the interaction. And that's why when we did it in LA last year, we encouraged the team to come out to Fresno. We're like, hey, we have a huge community in Fresno. Please come out there. We want to support you guys. We want to throw a big event for you guys. So they're coming out, and all we have to do on our part is pretty much just come together and show up.
Just show up. Just right.
show up.
That's very easy. We could do that. We could show up,
They
right?
need to show up.
Oh my goodness. So are they going to go back to LA this year as well? Like, what
Yes,
do
so-
they do? What do they usually perform? Tell me a little bit about what they do.
So they are the actual national team in Armenia. So
Okay.
they compete in FIBA level tournaments. They won the Small Countries Cup twice since Rex took over the program. So we have a lot of players that are spread out. The guys you see on the picture there, Anto Balyan, he's in LA. He's actually graduating high school this year, going to go to a college, I think in Pepperdine.
Wow.
And that's Andre Spay-McCurchan right there. He's currently playing in South America as an international player. The guy behind him is Connor Esigian. He's at Nebraska University. He's balling over there. And there's another guy, I think that's Zach, and he's a basketball player in Armenia. So half of them are in Armenia playing for local Armenian clubs. Some of them are out here in California, a couple of different states, and also some of them play internationally. So these guys are pretty much the players for the national team. So every time there's any kind of a major tournament that they need to go participate in, it could be European, it could be worldwide, they come out here and put on a show
So
for us.
the location is determined based on
Yes.
that. That is wild. So this is a really big deal. This is like exciting. I mean,
They'll be here June 6th. 7 p.m. is the game. Doors open at 6
and
o'clock.
then LA a couple days later.
Yes,
On the
LA
8th,
2 days later,
June
so they'll finish up the tournament in LA.
Oh my goodness. So do we get to place bets? Is your money on Armenia? What's going on?
I would put mine. We always bet on Armenia, right? We always bet on ourselves. And I think that's
How
the
good's this
case here.
Costa Rican team?
I don't know. We're about to find
Right,
out.
we're about to find out.
We're hosting them. I think they're going to be a very good competition for us, and it's going to be a really good game for our guys to get the experience they need for their continued tournaments. They just recently played a couple of games in Albania, I believe. It's for qualification for the World Cup. For the basketball leagues, and they took the W there. So we're looking forward for the next ones coming up.
So did you play basketball?
I played for fun. My kids play.
I am a basketball mom.
Yeah, so your kids
So
play,
we're very involved because basketball is everything to us
Yeah,
in
it's
our
our life
household.
right now. Everything basketball.
Everything basketball, and hence why we volunteered to do this for them.
My goodness.
Because why not, right?
So where are they playing right now? Your kids?
High school and junior high. And then they also play for Sassoon. So we have the games this weekend.
Okay.
So our daughter will be playing there as well. So we're excited about having the Armenia community get together this weekend for those games as well.
They're going to be held at one of the local high schools, Garza and Glacier Point. It's the big Fresno games, as we call it, the Home and Men program. We are the Sassoon chapter. Teams from LA and SoCal and NorCal will be coming out for the kids to play. It's U11 through U14. So we're going to be out there cheering on our kids. And that's my daughter's age, so we'll be out there all day Saturday and most of the day on Sunday.
Wow.
We have a huge community of kids who come together as well. And the boys, we got a couple of young men that are going to hopefully be looking at the Armenia team in the next couple of years. That'll be pretty exciting if they get there.
That is super impressive. So how long have you been a basketball mom? When did the kids start hey, this is going to be our jam?
I believe he started very, very young.
We had
started at about 5.
A basketball court and going at it when he was about 5, 6 years old. And we've been attending YMCA games back in the day when we were in LA, and we came here and it was Sassoon and high school and AAU and everything else. We also play at JMJ, which is an AAU local gig out here, and they have fun over there. We have a lot of Armenian kids and all over, the kids from all over Fresno come out there and play.
Did you guys think this was going to be your life one day? Like basketball is going to take over?
Right? It seems like that. That's kind of what it seems like. So our vacations, our weekends are all around basketball.
And you guys travel a lot, huh? You have to travel a lot with the kids.
We were in the Anaheim, SoCal area last week. We'll probably be out there again next week, and then the weeks after we'll be in Vegas. We'll be in where else are we going? We're going NorCal as well, so it'll be fun.
Wow! Oh my goodness! And so everyone can get involved with this and to buy the tickets. And then I like the Instagram is at Armenian Basketball, so that's easy.
Yes.
That's so easy. You guys grab that one.
Even if you Google Friends of Armenia Basketball on IG, you'll be able to find them. So there's the Armenian Federation page, and also there's the Friends of Armenia page. Friends of Armenia supports, like I said, the Federation. So if you go through either one, you'll be able to get to the right people. Or if you want to contact us, we could get you to the right people as well.
Oh, cool. How big is the Fresno City Bats? That holds quite a bit of people.
It's going to be, it holds 2,500 people.
Okay.
We're going to make it a little bit cozy. We're going to have some VIP seats. So if anybody wants to be front row,
so we get to choose too when we go on the website to buy tickets.
Yes.
We want to do that.
You could click on the yellow section where it's VIP. You could be right there.
What does VIP get?
They'll be able to get. I think it's going to include a couple of things, possibly a T-shirt, front row tickets, meet and greet during the game.
Front and center.
How exciting! Oh my gosh, I love this. And so, how long have you guys lived here?
A little bit over 6 years now.
How do you feel like the Armenian community here is in Fresno?
We're getting there. We're getting there. I think that's the goal, is to try to get more of that involvement.
Well, and I love it because it's sports related. We don't have a lot of that.
Yes.
And so that's why I think that's great.
Exactly. I think that's what we're trying to get to our youth as well. We want to get the encouragement from the program to the young generation. Like, hey, if you guys work hard, stay on the right track, and follow pretty much through with what your parents and community have put together for you, you're going to be able to get a chance to go out there and represent your country and your community and your family as well.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you for
having us.
Especially on April 24th episode. It's really exciting. Any April 24th activities you guys have planned?
Yes, we'll be at Fresno State, and we'll be also, I'll be at downtown for the raising of the flag in the morning as well.
It's all day, every day.
Absolutely.
It's a great opportunity to be able to show who we are, who we really truly are to the community.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you for coming on my show today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Marshall, it's always great to have you on because you have a lot to say.
I do. I think I have a lot to say, and hopefully it's important. Tomorrow, it's Armenian Genocide Week, obviously, and it's a big time of the year for us to commemorate, but also perhaps a time to reflect on what we've been doing and what we need to keep doing to make sure that the Armenian nation and its history stays safe. The first thing people need to understand is that the Armenian Genocide, as we know it, began in 1915, April 24th. But in reality, it began about 20 years before that with the Hamidian massacres. In that 20-year period, from 1894 up until 1915, upwards of 300,000 Armenians were killed. I've done the math, that's over 1,000 people a month. And when that didn't work, the final solution to the Armenian question was the genocide. And 1.5 million people were killed, people were dispersed. In 1918, the Armenian Republic was founded, and as soon as it was, Turkey started attacking with the goal of eliminating Armenia physically and politically. That's what they said. They made great strides towards that. Armenians held them off until the Soviets rolled in. And the genocide was put on hold for 70 years while the Soviet Union controlled Armenia. 1991, the Turks started drawing up plans on how to deal with Armenia and eventually get rid of Armenia, finish off what they started. And they basically outsourced that to Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is to the east of Armenia. They're a Turkic people. As the Turkish president has said, they are two nations, two countries, one nation. And they have worked hand in hand to eliminate Armenia. As Erdogan said, they wanted to finish the job their grandfather started in the Caucasus. They've promised to do what they're doing right now. And so people need to understand that what's happening today is not just some land dispute between Armenia and Azerbaijan regarding Artsakh, or formerly known as Nagorno-Karabakh. It's not that. The intention is to completely eliminate Armenia. And people need to be aware of that. The problem is that over time, Armenia has become more and more irrelevant, to the point where nobody cares. And when nobody cares about you, they can do whatever they want. And that's been going on since the 1930s, really, when Turkey intervened with a movie that MGM Studios was producing on Franz Werfel's novel, The 40 Days of Musa Dagh. I think any Armenian is familiar with the 40 Days of Musa Dagh. Armenians were backed up against the Mediterranean. The Turks were attacking. They held them off for 40 days until the French warships showed up and rescued them. Franz Werfel wrote a book about that, chronicling the adventures of them, if you will. And that book actually served as inspiration. That book circulated through the Jewish ghettos during World War II when Jews were being rounded up, as an inspiration to be resilient and steadfast and fight. So MGM was going to make that into a movie. The Turkish ambassador called up either Goldwyn or Mayer, I'm not sure which one, and said, if you produce this movie, it'll never be shown in Turkey. And in fact, not a single MGM movie will ever be shown in Turkey again. Not to mention, by the way, there's a lot of Jews in Turkey. They're doing pretty good. Let's keep it that way. Wink, wink. Right. So that started really the irrelevantization of Armenia. The other problem is a couple things. One is that we're commemorating the genocide this week. We're remembering the genocide. But what really are we commemorating? I can sit on my couch at home watching SportsCenter and remember the genocide. I don't need to necessarily go to Fresno State or City Hall to commemorate it. I think it's a great event to have at Fresno State. It's open to the public. A lot of people are there. But I think the commemorative committee, I believe, needs to step it up. They're volunteers. They do a great job. I've served on that committee. But if it's the same old us moping around and mourning and cursing the Turks under our breath and listening to the same speech, if that's the goal, then that's fine. But I think that commemorative event can be used to get people's attention and demand that more be done. Any sitting or past mayor of Fresno should be there, for sure. And if they're not there, they should be shamed. The Armenians have done too much in this community, in the Central Valley, to be treated like an inconvenience, as an obligation to go to every so often. And if we can't make it, so be it. That's wrong. I think that event should be reached out to elected officials, and they should be there sitting front row. A lot of them go to the flag raising at City Hall, which is nice, but that's pretty easy because their office is 10 feet away in City Hall. Let's make the effort to get there. That's a problem. But I think really the Armenian community needs to step up what they're doing. We've set the bar so low for our elected officials. They sign a piece of legislation, maybe they show up, they say a speech, they say a couple words in Armenian, and we're thrilled. We're pacified. We need more. We definitely need more because Armenia is becoming more and more at risk to attack from Azerbaijan. Another problem is that, and this is the part that gets a bit sensitive, but I don't mind this bit at all, Israel's role in this. I had an article in the Fresno Bee in 2010 titled Israel's Role in the Armenian Genocide. And it talked about everything that Israel had been doing to scuttle, to quash any type of semblance of genocide legislation, genocide justice in the House of Representatives. And they've been working hand in hand. These are the people that say never again, never again. It applies to them, but not to the Armenians. In fact, a former U.S. ambassador, Armenian Kokoshyan, K-A-R-A-E-R is how her last name is spelled. She was an ambassador to certain South Pacific islands, but she also served in Turkey. Her husband was a Turkish military officer, and she gave an interview to the Library of Congress, crowing, proud as can be, about the efforts that she and the Israeli lobby, and her words, the Jewish lobby, did to scuttle any semblance of genocide justice. And the reason that she gave, and keep in mind, this is a U.S. ambassador, appointed by the president, confirmed by the Senate. This is an intelligent woman. She knows what she's saying. She said that the Jewish lobby does not particularly care to share the genocide label with any other group. That is shameful, and that is sick, and that is not acceptable. Any good Jew should be standing up and saying, I denounce that. Now, keep in mind, there's more than one just Jewish lobby. It's not a monolith.
Right.
Keep in mind, Jews have been some of the biggest steadfast supporters of Armenian genocide justice since Henry Morgenthau was the U.S. ambassador to the Ottoman Empire. He sent a cable in July of 1915 saying what's happening is race extermination. A few years later, Franz Werfel wrote his book. In the 1940s, Raphael Lemkin, Jewish, coined the phrase genocide because of what happened to, he said it happened to the Armenians, and before it, and after it happened to the Armenians, it happened to the Jews. The definition of genocide is based on what happened to the Jews and what happened to the Armenians. And there are certainly good Jews and Jewish groups. When I served on this commemorative committee, part of my job was to reach out to the non-Armenian clergy, to get them to show up at this event. And frankly, I had very little success. I called up some of the biggest churches in town. Sometimes they couldn't make it. Sometimes I didn't even get a phone call back. But every year, Rabbi Rick Weiner was there from Temple Beth Israel. So there are good Jews out there that aren't part of that Jewish lobby that the ambassador talked about. So that needs to be brought up. What Israel's been doing now, since the work with Turkey, Israel has sold over $7 billion of suicide drones and cluster bombs to Azerbaijan to be used against the Armenians. Now, Israel knows what those munitions are being used for. When Azerbaijan attacked the Armenians in Artsakh back in 2020, the Armenian prime minister was not too happy with Israel. And Israel says, hey, what they do with those weapons is their business. And that's not true, because in April of 2016, when Azerbaijan attacked on a 4-day war period, Israeli military officials were in Azerbaijan teaching them, training them, showing them how to use those weapons. And those weapons were directed at civilians. So when I talk about Israel's role in the Armenian genocide from my 2010 article, fast forward to today, and that's what they're doing. And no one talks about that. And that's what needs to be discussed. When you want to have things new and changed and made better, if you will, the phrase is disruption. Telling people that Israel is involved in genocide of our Christian Armenians, that's disruption. That gets people's attention. And that's what needs to be done at this point, because once you get people's attention and they understand what's going on and can deal with it honestly, you're no longer irrelevant. And that's when Armenia becomes safe, Armenia becomes secure. Armenia is the keystone in the Caucasus. It's a strong democracy, a growing middle class, the tech industry is huge, and it's a Christian nation. It's the oldest Christian nation in the world, as we all know. And no one seems to care. But it's also keeping in mind Azerbaijan has a lot of oil. And nobody dares mess with Azerbaijan and their oil. So that's part of the problem. Israel uses Azerbaijan as a listening post toward Iran, because Iran is the enemy of Israel. And so a strong Azerbaijan is good for Israel. Just like a strong Turkey was good for Germany during World War I,
Right.
the same thing is happening today. And that's not acceptable. And that's why I write what I write. And that's why I am happy to come on to shows like yours and talk about these things, the things that aren't easy to talk about.
What can we do about it, though?
Well, reaching out to your members of Congress, reaching out to your local officials. That's one thing. I was at a meet and greet a couple weeks ago with Jim Costa, and I told him, I thanked him for his efforts over the years, but I said, at this point, you're mailing it in. And he didn't care for that comment. But the people in the room didn't mind it because they agreed with me. Because it's not just the left side of the aisle or the right side of the aisle. Again, we've set the bar so low. Just sign a piece of legislation, say a couple Armenian words, impress us, and we're happy. We're pacified. And they're happy to do that. But they're not going to know what we want until we stand up and tell them. So Jim Costa asked me, he says, well, what should we do? I said, well, you're the member of Congress. You figure it out. But I said, you're also on the Foreign Affairs Committee. There's 120 members, I think, in both the Senate and the House that are part of the Congressional Armenian Caucus. Have a press conference with everybody there and say Israel is involved in genocide. Turkey is the original terrorist state. Azerbaijan is paying off everybody up and down the line with its oil money. Just last week, Azerbaijan held a symposium in Vatican City titled Christianity in Azerbaijan, with the whole purpose of basically whitewashing their crimes against humanity, the destruction of Armenian churches, the destruction of Armenian monuments, the destruction of Armenian cemeteries. And at the same time, their ambassador to the Vatican received from the Pope, who just passed away, received the award of, I think it was Pope Pius IX. It's the highest honor that you can give on a civilian. 5 years before that, the Azeri president's wife received it. She happens to be the vice president of Azerbaijan. Corrupt and hateful as can be. Think of Azerbaijan as North Korea with oil. Who would support North Korea? Who would give money and accept awards from North Korea? Maybe Dennis Rodman, he tends to go there every so often. But otherwise, why would you support that regime? One of the most violent, oppressive, unfree regimes on the planet, because they're paying everybody off. So that's a problem. They're paying off the Vatican. British Petroleum is one of the largest investors in Azerbaijan, and they don't want those pipelines dealt with. And so when you get rid of all the Armenians in Artsakh, and now it's Azeri land, the pipelines run a lot smoother. And now it's Azerbaijan's goal to connect itself with Turkey through southern Armenia. And if that happens, Armenia is cut off from Iran, it's cut off from Middle East, Asian subcontinent, the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf. And if that happens, Armenia is really up a creek, because Azerbaijan has been saying that that part of Armenia is Azeri land. They refer to Armenia as Western Azerbaijan. And they're slowly eliminating the Armenian nation, the country, and everything about it. So that's a concern.
So once people do realize this, if this does get realized, where does the future is headed in oil?
In oil? Well,
you know what I mean? It becomes like this. Say, you do this, we're going to do this.
Well,
and
part of
what
it is the press. The press is very lazy. And they're happy to not report things that are unpleasant. Azerbaijan, a lot of their oil and gas actually gets filtered through Russia. Russia, of course, is sanctioned due to its invasion of Ukraine, but it's getting rerouted through Azerbaijan. But no one's going to say that. The EU President Ursula von, can't think of her last name, talked about Azerbaijan being such a strategic partner. I wouldn't be surprised if she's on the take from them. British, so many oligarchs, so many big money people in Azerbaijan own property in London. London's one of the most expensive real estate markets on the planet. We don't want to offend that. It's all about money. And at some point, someone's got to stand up and say, it's not right. And so I think the Armenian community here needs to demand more from their elected officials. They need to tell them what we want. And it's not just the same tired speeches. It is speaking the truth, calling out Turkey for being the original terrorist state. Haven't changed their ways at all, ever. They're just a lot more cool about it. Calling out Israel and shaming Israel for what they're doing, because Israel will shame you if you are not supportive of them.
Right.
And there's labels that get stuck on you. You're an anti-Semite because you don't support Israel. Well, I support Israel, but I'm also going to call them out for helping to arm Azerbaijan to commit genocide when they know that those arms are being used for that. So you got to stand up and say something.
Even though that could mean some type of retaliation or some stuff that they don't.
How much worse can it get?
Well, I'm saying with oil and stuff and hijacks and all of that stuff.
No, people are still going to be buying the oil. That's not a problem. But they have to also call them out. Governments and elected officials need to stand up and be strong.
So there's nothing. So when they stand up and everything, you don't think there's going to be any type of retaliation? It'll just be.
There probably will be, but if enough people stand up and start speaking the truth, then maybe there won't be. But someone's got to take one for the team.
Well, who are we to get to help us? What elected official in California do you think is the one that's going to be the most that we can go that can make a difference? I'm really asking is it's like what is the strategic plan to do now that we could work on?
That's in the works, I suppose. But there are a lot of good members of Congress here in the Valley. Jim Costa's done a very good job over the years. Again, I think it needs to be stepped up. David Valadao, Tom McClintock. There are a lot. Vince Fong as well. There are, like I said, over 100 members of Congress that are on the Congressional Armenian Caucus, and they shouldn't be on that caucus just as a resume builder.
Right.
They should be on that to do the work that needs to be done and say the things that need to be said.
So if we just find the ones that are on that caucus, write to them. Get on them. That's the first step that we could do. Start with California and then work the way. Okay.
I think the first step might have been when I was talking with Jim Costa a couple weeks ago, and I said, "Thank you for all that you've been doing, but at this point, you're mailing it in." And he said, "I'm sorry, what was that last part?" I said, "You're mailing it in." Okay. He didn't care for that comment, but at the end, it was a good conversation.
Right.
And the people that were in that room afterwards said, "Thank you." Because I think we've been so sensitive and almost bashful about talking about the genocide because for so long it was not a genocide, it was an alleged genocide. It was a massacres. And that's what got me writing 30 some years ago to say this is wrong. That's not true. This happened to people. This happened to my family. It happened to a lot of our families. We know these stories. We knew people that lived through hell. And I think we owe it to them to not just sit back and say, well, thanks for coming to America. We got a nice swimming pool in our backyard. It's all good. Well, it's not all good. There's still work that has to be done, and people need to step up and make that effort. And
I'm glad that you're speaking. And the biggest thing that you point out with all of this is that the irrelevance that one day Armenia is going to go from being as irrelevant to completely. I mean, I think that people don't understand, because it's like, okay, we have been doing that. What's the problem? And you're saying this is the problem. This is what's going to happen if we keep this up.
Right, and part of it is the press. The press is very lazy. The press works on a binary system, ones and zeros, this and that, good and evil. Israel is good, Iran is evil. Ukraine is good, Russia is evil. Okay, how do you deal with Armenia? Armenia is good, right? Well, not according to Azerbaijan, who's paid off the press to say we're a bunch of separatists and terrorists. But we know that Armenia was on the receiving end of genocide from Turkey. Okay, well, Turkey has now farmed it out to Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan gets its military equipment from Israel. Israel and Turkey still want to kill each other. So do the math on that. If you're a news reporter, try presenting that to the public.
You can't.
Yeah, you could if you made the effort.
You could, but you can't. There's no way to put that where
because it's easier to say Israel is good, Iran is bad. Now off to sports and weather. That's it. It's the same thing. So what are you going to do?
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. And then, we're going to keep up and see what we can do. Hopefully we can place a strategy together to really get stuff done.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. This is Armenian Genocide Week. But for some of us, every day is Armenian Genocide Day.
That's how most of us are here.
Yep. Thank you.
Welcome back, Bill.
Hey.
How many times have you been here?
This is the 10th.
Oh, my goodness.
The 10th time.
The 10th time?
Yeah, in 4 years.
Wow.
I know.
That's impressive. But there's so much to talk about. Every time there's something new that's happening.
Yeah, there isn't. We've got a lot going on.
Okay, so this Saturday, what's happening?
This Saturday, we have our Bombs Away car show at the museum. So if you have a classic car, you can come out and put it out on the grounds next to whatever airplane that you'd like. And We have food, entertainment. The gift shop will be open. We're going to have the presidential airplane. It'll be open, and the F-16 will be open.
You know, I love most about this event. We got some great photos like last time we were there, and it's like when is there ever a time in life that you could take a nice vintage photo with a vintage car and a vintage plane and like all that? It's just so, it's like just right there, and you could take pictures of it, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it runs the gamut. You could, you know, because we go from, you know, 1921 basically to modern day. So whether you have a 29 Duesenberg or you've got a brand new Mustang, you know, you can have, you know, your choice of which airplane that you want your car to sit next to. So that's really a rarity amongst car shows. There are a few other museums that do them, but they're not on the grounds like we are.
Yeah, they're like right next to each other.
Yeah.
Like we get the car and the plane together.
Exactly. So, you know, with us having, you know, 80 airplanes and on, you know, basically 38 acres, you've got plenty of places to choose from, you know, to park your car. So which is really a unique thing for us.
That is really cool. And so what's the process of if somebody does have a car and they want to be in on it? How do they apply for that?
You can go to our website and you can pre-register.
So no one can come the day of?
Oh, yeah.
Or sometimes, yeah.
No, you can. The registration fee, I believe, is a little bit more. I think it's like $5 or $10 more. But you can come.
But it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Like all of it's like
Sure.
standard, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's $25.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun.
It's not going to break the bank. And yeah, you can come the day of. But most guys like to pre-register. This way we kind of got an idea of how many cars that we're actually going to have.
And if they want to be somewhere, they kind of say, hey, can I be here? And
Yes.
say yes, so then yeah.
Right, and then we'll give them a map on where all the airplanes are so they can kind of pick and choose, you know, if they would like.
And is there prizes for the best car?
Yes, we do have a trophy package this year, just like we had last year. I'm not on that committee, so I don't know what classes that there are, but I believe that there's like 6 different ones.
You don't get to vote?
Yeah. You can, we have judges, which I believe goes around.
So you're not one of the judges?
No, I'm not one of the judges because I'm at Miss Sparkle, so I can't.
You gotta be stuck at my plane. That's where
Yeah, we can't leave the airplane.
So there's actually 6. That's cool. There's 6 different prizes.
I believe so. Yeah, and then you know the Grand Poobah big trophy, you know, and whatnot, from what I understand. And then we also have car show T-shirts, which will be sold in the gift shop the day of, and then also whatever's left over after the show, then they'll sell inside the gift shop.
And the weather's been pretty good lately, so it's a great time to kind of come out there, see it. It's like if someone's not then in a place, but they're in their cars, they can go. If they're not in their cars, but it's like the best of both worlds because somebody's going to be into something.
Yeah, it is, and because we have such a huge variety of airplanes, it's people can see what kind of airplanes that they really like, you know, up close. A lot of people, when it comes to airplanes, you know, they only really see them on television or see them flying over the house.
I think that's all I ever seen before I came to Casa.
Yeah, well, you know, so, and after 9/11, it's so hard to get onto an airfield, you know, to actually see, you know, anything big. So when you come to see us, you know, you're right up and personal with them.
And it shows how little the cars are. The cars look so small.
They're like Matchbox cars.
Right? When you get next to these big planes.
Yeah,
oh my
but
goodness.
we always have a really good turnout. I think we're anticipating we'll probably have a little over 200 cars this time.
You can go into some of the planes, right? It's not like open cockpit day, but is there tours on any of the planes? There's tour on Air Force One.
We got tours on Air Force One and the Viper.
Okay, so a little bit. I mean. Right. That's cool. Yeah. And that actually is a good time to go because it's not going to be all congested with it. There's a lot going on. So yeah, if you hadn't seen the Air Force One yet and you like to go, that was probably a good time to do that.
The weather is supposed to, I looked at it before I came here and I think we're in the high 60s.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah, so we're having a cold front that is going to move in, I think, on Thursday, and it's going to drop the temperatures up there because it's so close to the Delta that they get a little cooler than what we do here. But that's okay, and rain looks like it's going to hold off, you know, for now. And but it should be a really, really good time. I think we have 4 or 5 food vendors, you know, set up, And the checklist was completed about a week ago. So.
And there's entertainment. There's going to be some music too.
Yeah, I believe we have a live band this time.
Are you going to be dancing?
No.
Well, you know,
Right.
the rest of us can, I
Yeah,
guess.
it is what it is.
Oh, this is so much fun. Okay, so what's anything different we can expect this car show as opposed to the last one? Anything different this year? There anything else?
You know what? I believe that it's going to be basically very similar. The one thing about the museum is since last year we've rolled out two brand new airplanes, so those will be out on the grounds.
Oh yeah, so there'll be some cars next to the new
Right,
plane.
which a lot of people may not have seen.
What are the new planes that dropped since the last time?
Well, we got the 102, and it was a former California Air National Guard F-102 interceptor that was stationed down at March Field and in Ontario. And it's freshly out. Well, it's been out for a while, but I think it was rolled out after the last car show that we did last year. And then the A6, it's out now. So, but it's been out again, for a little bit. But people may not have seen them since they've been back.
And speaking of rolling out new planes, Open Cockpit's going to be this year Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, Memorial Day weekend, 24th of May.
What plane's going to roll out then?
We're going to have the F-4S Black Bunny, or commonly known as the Playboy Bunny.
Finally, I feel like it's been in restoration for so long. I'm like,
Believe it or not, we've had it now about 2.5 years.
I was going to say, it's been.
Yeah, and but we just sort of had to wait for it to get in line in the paint cycle, and then but the guys got it all put back together, sanded down, and it's in primer as of yesterday.
Wow.
So they're going to start to apply, the high gloss black on the white markings and the Playboy Bunny on the tail.
Is the restoration building going to be open for the car show or no?
It won't be open for the car show, but it will be open for
Cockpit.
Open Cockpit Day, because we have the hidden collection that we have over there that we've set up. And it's basically a lot of the things that we have that are not on display on the main grounds. And those guys the restoration guys are really good about going ahead and.
What's the hidden collection?
The hidden collection, again, is everything. It's items that we have stored away that we don't display out on the grounds. Some airplanes that are going to be in work. They're going to be restored. They're coming up. We have engines. We have some.
Yeah, so it's different pieces. So it's not just planes that are hidden.
But we
right?
have fabric-covered airplanes. From after World War I. So that's kind of a big thing for people to see, because it's items that you don't see when you come to the main museum. And every museum has that. I don't care if it's a car museum or whatever. They always have that one room or one building where they've got kind of some gems hidden, and hidden collection is ours. The F-117, the stealth fighter, it's coming back together. It's coming back to life. We're getting the parts final assembly, and so we'll be able to get that thing painted. And but that will go inside into the main pavilion. We'll probably talk about that here in a little bit. So that's going on, and then and when we've got probably 2 to 3 different airplanes which we're going to have to drag in to be repainted before we put them into what we call the rodeo cover, which is the first structure which we're putting up under the pavilion program.
Well, how is that going, the pavilion?
The pavilion program is on a fast track.
That's great.
Yeah, Jeff Stopper, you did the YouTube video with Jeff. This is what he did in civilian life. He put up buildings, and he's like the Michael Jordan of putting up buildings. The guy just knows what he's doing, and he's working with the city and the planning commission and everybody that it takes to put something up, of this magnitude. So they just got the setbacks set up, and then and a few other things. So we're actually going to the city with the final plans here, I believe, this week or next week.
Wow,
yeah.
that is really fast. So breaking ground. When's that gonna?
Right now, I believe we're going to be looking at after event season. So
that's incredible.
August, September timeframe, because it's hard to have events when you've got construction. And
very much.
We're not talking about putting up a 2,000 square foot house. We're talking about an 80,000 square foot, building, and that takes a lot of. So we're going to have to shut down certain portions of the museum, while we do that. But the funding looks like it's there. We're still looking for some more.
Oh yes, it's a great tax write-off. So someone wants to donate.
Correct, and it's a tax write-off because we're a 501c3, company.
It's cool because it's pretty much donating to be like a part of history. You get like something right in your backyard that you can kind of be like, oh, I helped put that together. Because we're always looking for something, and it's like,
yeah, and I think people want to be part of keeping history alive.
Right.
And as good as we try to maintain the airplanes outside, you can only do so much, because they're out in the weather.
So that's what this building's going to do. It's going to house the planes.
Yeah, exactly. So the first building's going to be a fabric covered building, and they use it basically. It was designed for equestrian riding.
Wow.
And it's massive. It's 195 feet long by 150 feet deep. So we're going to put the World War II bombers in there: the B-17, B-24, B-25, and the A-26, the A-6. Texan, and the BT-13. Those will all go inside that portion. And that's going to be put right next to the gift shop and in that open area. And then we're going to move, look like right now, we're going to move the SR-71 behind the gift shop and make it its own display.
Wow.
So that'd be really nice. So we got a lot of ground to move, a lot of airplanes to move. Matter of fact, we're having a meeting tomorrow night on exactly how we're going to do it.
And speaking of donations and all that, you guys are really great about like telling people where everything's going to go, and they donate, the money's going to go. They get, emails, they get, updated on where it's going to go. And unlike a lot of other museums in towns that you could donate to, this one's not going to move. It's not going anywhere.
No.
That's kind of, they're stuck there for life, Castle Air Museum.
Yeah, we've been around.
It's too heavy to move. It'd be way too tedious to move at this point. So it's like, when it's there, it's like it's going to be there for generations to come.
If you can move it, you can have it. Kind of deal.
So,
but no, we're definitely not going anywhere. But we're like any other museum. We're not really
parts go. Some things are going to come in and out of it.
Well, most museums only take stuff in, and they don't really get rid of anything because normally when they take it in, it's an historical artifact, so they find a place for it. And that's fine if you're collecting Volkswagens, but airplanes are a different story, especially the ones that we have. The vast majority of them are massive. So
massive, yeah.
So we have to have a place, to put them. But the pavilion is really going to save the life of a lot of airplanes, And the presidential airplane, the VC-9, it'll go indoors. The F-16, the F-18, the 102, the 106, the Thunderbird Phantom, because it's a real life Thunderbird Phantom. It wasn't one that's just painted up like a Thunderbird. It was number 5 of the Thunderbirds.
Wow.
And then the Black Bunny Phantom will go in, and because it's such an icon, of aviation history. And if anybody that is an airplane freak, just tell him Black Bunny Phantom, and he'll know exactly what you're talking about.
So awesome.
So we were really blessed to have it, and we're able to get it, and to be able to turn it, so quickly, and so we're going to put it out on the grounds at Open Cockpit Day. It'll be the first time we ever rolled an airplane out on Open Cockpit Day.
Really?
Yeah, we've never done it before. We've always staged them the night before.
Oh, wow.
So this will be kind of a...
Oh, that's going to be so exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, so 11 o'clock, tentatively, they'll roll it onto the grounds and put it on its pads, which are being poured this week.
So much to look forward to.
Yeah.
And then the YouTube channel, that's doing good.
YouTube channel is doing great. We're you guys have done such a fantastic job. You hosting it, and then
we get the in-depth look at the planes and like a lot of things that people don't know.
Right, and we have such a huge collection that we've got enough stuff to do.
Yeah, you can't all in
3
one
years
day.
worth of
Go
YouTube.
over all like this information. So it's
Right.
so great. Like every time you get different nuggets, and there's short videos people can watch it. It's not like hours of it's just like nice little.
Right, and I think Drew tries to keep it anywhere between 3 to 10 minutes. So it doesn't get too lengthy. I know right now you guys, or what's on now, is the series of the Indoor Museum. But the day that you guys came to shoot for the YouTube videos, we were getting like 2 inches of rain up there, so there's no way you could have shot outside. But
that was really interesting. It's, like you said, every little artifact, and then it's not the biggest, the Indoor Museum, and there was so much stuff in there.
Yeah,
That's the funny part.
We've been able to stuff quite a bit in there,
Right.
but still very organized.
Very organized.
And each display, tells its own story.
Right.
Right.
It's just amazing how much is in that compact, and they're like, wow, and every different eras.
Yeah, because every time you turn around, there's something different.
Right.
And but when but that building that the Indoor Museum is in looks like it's going to go away. So we're going to tear that down.
Everything's changing for the pavilion.
And everything that's in the Indoor Museum will most likely go into the pavilion.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, so it's so we got a lot of changes. A lot of changes are coming, and it's just kind of slow going, but we'll get there, eventually. And
so after May, what will we have going on after Memorial Day?
well, after May, August 30th, we have our second open cockpit day, the Sweat Fest, and and then September 12th we have our golf tournament.
Oh, cool.
And we're going to have that in Atwater, it looks like right now. And then the last thing we have, really a large thing, would be the 18th of October, which is the second car show. So right now, tentatively, it's going to be out on the ramp, out on the Castle Airport ramp.
Wow.
If they decide not to do that again, because it looks like they're having some management changes, then we'll probably take it and put it back onto the grounds at the museum.
Awesome. Well,
So that'd be nice.
that's awesome. So we have just a lot going on this year. 2025 is a big year for Castle Air Museum.
Well, we have a lot of events, and we got a lot of fundraising going on, we just got a ton of stuff. And the nice thing about it this year is that we've got a board that is very active. Guys will pick up the bucket, and take it, as far as they can go. And so a lot of work is getting done by people who are on the board of directors that never happened in years past. And so it's so we're all working together, and it's really a good time. I've been attached now to, I'm answering all of the emails or the responses on Google for the museum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the nice thing about it is, out of 5 stars, we're sitting at a 4.7.
That's it? Why aren't we at 5?
Well, it is what it is.
So you guys got to write those reviews.
Yeah, but we all have different hats that we're wearing, just because we don't have a lot of staff full time in order to do this. And we do not get any money from, the Department of Defense or the federal government. So it's all based on gate attendance, and then it's private donations. So, so we just have to, wear another hat and do the job.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today. Can't wait. This is going to be awesome. So everyone come out this Saturday.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Great to have you back, Shiva.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been, 3 years since you were last here?
Yeah, it was January of 2022. An old band of mine, we came to promote our record here.
But you know why we haven't had you back in so long? Because you're always traveling. You're a hard man to keep track of.
Well, thank you. I'm just glad to be somewhat of a working musician and play gigs throughout the state.
I don't think I know anyone busier than you. Like, especially, like, look, I'm serious because you're always playing with every band. I know every band wants you, and then you're everywhere in California.
Thank you. I know. I appreciate it. It's all ever wonderful. When I was a young teenager starting out, I always wanted to be a working musician. That was always the goal. Never about the fame, not really about the money. I mean, money's nice, but mainly just to be a working.
There's not many working musicians. Usually it's a hobby, huh? It's not many that you get to, like,
It's not easy, but, I love it, and hopefully one day, I can be, like my heroes that inspired me.
And Porch Fest. So do you get paid for Porch Fest, or is that just for fun? I figured that was like a fun thing.
No, it doesn't pay. I mean, people tip us, which is nice, but no, it doesn't pay or anything. So yeah, this will be my 4th year doing Porch Fest, because I did every year since 2021. And
that's when it started.
Yeah, because during COVID we couldn't see real live music, so it was a safe way of doing that. So the thing is, since it was so popular, every year they done it, it got bigger and bigger. More people wanted to perform.
That's so crazy. Isn't that awesome? Something you did for COVID and then it became like a thing.
Yeah, and now I'm involved in both sides of it, because a nonprofit I'm involved with, Creative Fresno, we're a fiscal sponsor for Porch Fest. So not only do I play on there, but I also help behind the scenes, making sure all like the boring paperwork and stuff gets done.
Okay, so tell us about this group.
Creative Fresno?
Yeah.
Well, it's a local 501(c) nonprofit that basically helps supports the creative arts in Fresno and the surrounding Fresno area. So Tower Porch Fest, that's the community that does all the hard work. That's their baby. We just help them by being a sponsor, and we have nonprofit tax status, and they don't. So we just help with that.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's really cool. All the moving parts that make all of this come together.
I know, yeah. It's quite a lot of work goes into it, but it's very fruitful. I think we have like over 367 people playing, porches performing. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Every year it's getting bigger and bigger, so it never was this big. So now, but every year it gets bigger and bigger, which is fantastic.
What band are you playing with?
Well, I'm playing with 2 bands. So from 12 to 1, I'm going to be at this address is 1383 Ferger Avenue. This is all in the Tower District. A band called Blended 46 that I've been a part of for a year now. Mm-hmm. So we're playing from 12 to 1. We do covers of basically classic rock, 60s, 70s rock music. Okay. And then after that, from 2 to 3, another band I've been involved with, the Bill Island Trio. We're playing at Kay Dotson's house, 1249 North Echo Avenue, Austin Tower.
You have 12 to 1 and 2 to 3?
Yeah.
There's no break? There's just like boom, boom?
Well, I mean, there's a break, but that break is used for me to pick up my drums and put them in my car, go to the next house and set up.
Wow, that's really busy. And so, okay, for those of us that have never gone or whatever, is there like a trail that we could follow or a thing online that we can look at so we can know where we want to go?
Yeah, if you go on a Tower Porch Fest on their social medias or on their website, there's a map.
Okay, good.
And then you can basically look at the map and it tells you all the houses that open up their porches, and then all the bands that are playing.
It's a lot of it walkable because you have to get in your car and drive. I mean, that's just because you have equipment.
Yeah, well, I have my car because of equipment.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's meant to be walkable.
Because that's the point, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it's all in the Tower District. So yeah, you could walk through it, of course. Some people ride their bikes, so you can do that. You could drive, but parking is going to be difficult. Like even as a performer, like parking is going to be difficult. Like I would park like down the street and then carry my drums.
They better make a spot for you. Make way for the drummer if you guys are.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sometimes I get lucky, but not all the time. But yeah, no, it's totally walkable. It's all ages. So yeah, and make sure to bring like water and stuff. I mean, there'll be food. You can buy food. Some houses provide food, but make sure you're hydrated. It's gonna be really hot that day.
Well, yeah, and then you got all the restaurants there, so you can go back and forth and like have a drink, go watch a band. So that's
awesome. And then I guess what I'm doing the next day. The Bill Island Trio, we have a gig at Santa Cruz at this town called SoCal at this brewery called Discretion Brewery.
On Sunday at what time?
We play from 3 to 5.
The Santa Cruz, okay.
Yeah. So we'll be like 5 minutes away from the famous Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
This is exactly why we never get you. It's like we get you when we can because you're going all over.
And then next month I have actually playing a music festival now in Los Angeles. It's called Topanga Days. It's located in Topanga, California, which is basically in between Malibu and Calabasas. There's a place called the Topanga Community House, and it's been around since the late 40s, and basically they offer free events for people of all ages. So this music festival is basically a fundraiser for the community house.
What weekend is that?
That's the weekend of Memorial Day. So so it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it starts on the 25th of, excuse me, the 24th of May, which is a Saturday, goes on Sunday the 25th, and then Monday the 26th is the last day. So I'm playing day 3 with my LA band down in LA. So
Oh my goodness! So what's the LA band?
It's called Topanga Collective. It's a mixture of my friends that some of them live in Topanga. Some of us, like myself, we just go down there a lot and visit. So we all like the same type of music because bands like Neil Young, Canned Heat, Spirit, all those big bands in the '60s, they were from Topanga Canyon. When they were getting big, before they got famous, really, they were living in Topanga Canyon. So we're gonna do songs from them and some original songs as well. I'm gonna play drums and I might even sing a little bit too. So for those of you down in Los Angeles or want to go somewhere for Memorial Day, definitely come on out. It's all ages. You have to buy a ticket, but like I said, it's a fundraiser that goes to the community house. So it's gonna be fun. And there's a band I like called Chevy Metal that was started by the guys from the Foo Fighters.
Nice.
They're playing after we are. They're headlining the same night as we are. So I'm so excited. Like I saw Chevy Metal 3 years ago play for Taylor Hawkins for his benefit show.
That is so cool.
And now I'm gonna be on the same bill as them. So I'm so excited for that.
That's pretty awesome. Wow.
Yeah. So we're playing day 3, Monday, the May 26th at 12:30. So there's gonna be a parade happening at 8 a.m. Down the Topanga Canyon Boulevard. There's gonna be a big parade. After the parade's done, I then walk up the hill and go play music for about an hour.
So we need to follow you. Just you, because you're with every band, so that we can't possibly follow all of your bands. Yeah. So what, you're good at telling us where you're going to be. So what's your actual Instagram that we need to be following?
Well, yeah, I have 2 Instagrams. One's my general Instagram, Juke_Box078. That's my main Instagram where I post really anything I do in my life. Music, eating food, doing yoga, doing Pilates, anything really. And then I have another Instagram just mainly for drums called Shiva Umesh Drums 69. That's my Instagram account that I share mainly about my music. So there's that. And if you want to support me, if you like what you're doing and you want to throw a bit of money my way, I do have a Patreon page, Shiva Umesh Music. So you go there, you pay $5 a month, and you get basically you get full-length videos of every performance that I've been doing for the past 4 or 5 years now.
Really?
And
that's cool. No one's ever come and promoted that.
Yeah,
that's really awesome.
Yeah. So so I have that, and then you get that, but you also see like pictures of me at videos at rehearsals, new stuff I'm working on, solos, and so if you would like to support me, what I'm doing, and support local musicians, go to patreon.com and then type Shiva Umesh Music, my first and last name, and then music, and then you can find me, and you can be a Patreon.
That's so cool. And then Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I have my regular Facebook account, Shiva Umesh. Then I have one for my drums called Drummer Umesh. They won't let me put Shiva Umesh drums or anything like that. I don't know why. So
that's so weird.
Yeah, I had to make up. So it's just Drummer Umesh. So if you put write the word drummer, then my last name, Umesh, Umesh, you get basically all of my monthly. Every month I do like a blast of like all the shows I'm playing. Like the day before Topanga Days, the music festival, is a Sunday, the 25th. I'm playing the Barrel House in River Park with Blended 46.
Oh, cool.
The same band that doing one of the Porch Fair gigs with, we're doing Barrel House. So after that show, we do that show at Barrel House Sunday, the 25th of May from 4 to 7.
Gosh, you ought to be
Get
everywhere.
my drums packed up, go down to Los Angeles.
Oh my goodness, I don't know how you do it. What's the next Fresno gig after Porch Fest that you're going to be at?
My next Fresno gig after Porch Fest, that would be the Barrel House gig.
Okay.
At River Park. So there's different locations. Barrel House will be the one in Fresno, River Park. Next to the IMAX or Regal Cinemas. We're playing there Sunday, the 25th of May, from 4 to 7, and that's a band Blended 46, where we do basically covers of 60s, 70s, and 80s rock and roll music. It's a 3-piece, and of course I'm on drums.
That is so wild. I can't believe that you keep this schedule up.
Well, thank you. I'm trying to be like you, Sparkle.
I think you might have me beat on that.
You're an inspiration. I mean, you moved out to LA, you got big out there, and then you came back home, and you're even a bigger star out here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. We got to keep the dream alive.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on my show
Thanks
today.
for having me. It means a lot, Sparkle. You rock.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh I must confess dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you, and I don't want your loving And I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.